Bookcase and Coffee presents Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance.
Hey everyone, welcome to A Quick Shot of Romance. I am Becky, and I am joined for this episode by podcast contributor Heather. Hi, Heather.
Hey, Becky, how are you?
Good. So, funny story. As we were setting up to record this, our production guy, aka the husband, says, "What book are you guys reading?" And I was like, "Good Girl." And he's like, "Of course." Because here we are again with our praise
Apparently
king.
we like to be called good girls. We have some praise issues.
We do. Well, everybody likes to be told they're a good girl, right?
Right.
So on this episode of A Quick Shot of Romance, we are reviewing Good Girl by Jana Aston. This is book one in the Vegas Billionaire series. And I love this book. This was a reread for me.
Yeah, and I had not read it. I mean, I've read some other of Jana Aston's, and when you said, "Hey, let's read Jana Aston," I'm like, sign me up. I love her.
Yeah. She dirty talks like nobody's business.
So I don't know why, but like I always forget that she's very funny. It's almost like when I read, like I would compare her and Helena Hunting, because Helena is very funny and you sort of forget that she's funny because her books, but Jana is the same way. I forget how funny she is and she'll just like throw in these little comments and I'm like, oh my God, that was so funny and clever. I love it.
Yeah, and this book has some moments that you are totally snorting and giggling and laughing about.
And her characters are awesome.
Yeah, some of my favorite books are by her, and she does love an age gap. And some of my favorites are by Jana Aston. So Carolina and I a while ago reviewed Right, which is a surprise pregnancy age gap romance.
OBGYN too.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
So funny. So anyway, I was excited to get to talk about Good Girl because I really love this Vegas series, and I'm a little sad that she's been delayed in giving us the rest of the characters in this book. Because just
Jana, if you're listening, we want more.
Yeah.
ASAP.
Well, we need the security guy and the financial guy. We need their...
And the lawyer. I feel like the lawyer could give us some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, because one of the side characters in this book, he and her best friend have the next book. So, and we'll talk about that.
I downloaded it and I started it. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
I will read from Goodreads. Ready?
Ready.
I've always been a good girl. I work hard. I follow the rules and I always achieve my goals. But sometimes good girls want things that aren't good for them or someone who isn't good for them, like their new boss. And sometimes they do very bad things to get his attention, like sell their virginity in an auction. Who knew he'd be so very, very mad? Maybe this was not my best laid plan.
He was mad. He was very mad.
Okay. Also, is it Rise or Reese? Which one are we going with?
We're going with Reese the right way.
Is it Reese? Okay.
Yeah, it's Reese.
This is I hate to say older because it's not that old, but it was released in May of 2018.
And it holds up. It holds up.
Totally. Very much so. So a virgin trope, billionaire, co-worker, mistaken identity, rom-com. I would even say like the age gap, but it's so funny you said that because I kind of forgot that there was an age gap. And if anything, he's the less mature one, I feel like.
Totally is.
Than her. She just has her crap together.
Well, and she is so in the book, we learn that Lydia was raised by gay dads in a small town in Tennessee. And she has an eccentricness about her that I think is a direct reflection of that kind of, being raised in that kind of incubator of a small town with dads that fit outside the norm.
Well, and she was it's like the equivalent of a Girl Scout. So she was a Girl Scout. A girl trooper. And I mean, all the way through high school. And like, she has these awesome, like, hobbies. Like, I just actually want to be friends with her.
So she's
Fresh out of college, too.
Right. She's 22 and he is 37 or 38 in the book.
Yeah.
It does have a put out percentage. It pops at 23% with Dry Humping, which.
Oh my God, that was hot.
That was so hot and so funny.
The thing that I think that Jana Aston does fantastic, probably one of the best I've read, is the internal dialogue of her characters.
Yeah.
So Reese's internal dialogue in this whole scene in the back of this bar is glorious.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is to note about this book is, so in Jana Aston's older books, we do not get dual point of view. She writes typically from the female heroine's point of view only. And then the epilogue will be in the male's point of view. This book is written in dual point of view. And I think that that is what makes this one one of my favorites of hers. Because like you really get to see Reese and what a dumbass he is, but also like dumbass. His conversations with his friends when they're trying to talk him into pursuing this relationship early on. So let's talk about their meet cute, because I think that helps sets the stage. Lydia and her best friend, oh my goodness, Peyton are in a bar not far from this takes place in Vegas. They moved to Vegas for a job at a brand new casino that is opening up. They live in Henderson, in a suburb of Vegas, and they're at a local bar on a Saturday night, just kind of hanging out. It's the Saturday before their new job starts on Monday. And Peyton has given Lydia a checklist.
Yeah, like a fun checklist. Like all the things that, because Lydia, okay, she is like a Girl Scout.
She's like 68.
I like related hardcore to Lydia. Like she's, you know how every friend group has like the mom in the friend group?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lydia's the mom. She's manages
the
all the stuff.
And she's very responsible and she's very thoughtful. She calls herself an accidental virgin because she didn't mean to be a virgin, but she was just really goal focused in both high school. She was real
busy in college, like doing college, like actual why you go to college, not to party and drink and lose your virginity. That kind of thing.
She went to LSU, which is a huge party school. So I thought that was funny that she was like the good girl on campus. And so she's in this bar on a Saturday night before they're getting ready to start their big grown-up, big girl jobs. And one of the things she has to do is she has to kiss somebody in the bar. Reese has been listening to his cousin Bellyache about a failed relationship, which is another book that is phenomenal. If you haven't read it, you should go read it. But he overhears the conversation between Lydia and Peyton and is like, I'll kiss you. And he drags her off to the owner's office in the back of the bar because it's his friend that owns the bar. And he kisses her. And she's like in love. Like, and in lust. I guess she's not in love. She's just in lust.
She was like, wow, that was hot. And he was like, holy shit, that was hot. I gotta get the hell out of here. Like, I can't do this. Yeah. Like, how old is she? And his friends are like, is she even legal?
Right. Yes. They're like, oh she's a young one.
Friends are the best.
So then Lydia and Peyton go to work the very first day of work.
And they're big girl jobs.
And they're big girl jobs. And Lydia's in human resources. And she runs into Reese in the employee lounge in the break room. About coffee.
And she like propositions him. No joke. She's like, if you want more, and he like anything. And he was like, with his coffee cup.
He's like, I got to get out of here. I'm out.
And she's like, holy crap, what did I do? And turns out he doesn't just like work there.
No. She quickly learns out he's the CEO and the managing partner of the entire casino and is related to the company that owns the casino. Like, that's his family business. So then the next Saturday night, they are back in the same bar. And who should show up? Reese.
Because he's psycho. He actually goes there to look for her.
And propositions her, like takes her back to the office, and she's like, I'm all in. Hello.
Game
yes. And that is when the dry humping scene happens on the leather couch in the office. And the friend is in the office, and he's like, I guess I'm going to leave now.
He's like, I guess I'm really my office again. Oh my, it was so funny.
So funny. So funny. So let's talk about Reese a little bit, because
oh my God, he's such an idiot.
He's so dumb. He's so closed off. He is so closed off. Very focused on his career.
Whore.
Yeah.
He sleeps around.
But he's always been, he was born into a wealthy family, and he has just found that dating strippers, dating hookers, or hooking up with hookers was better than trying to have a real date with someone and try for a real relationship, when in the end, they were all just using him for his money.
Correct.
And so he rather looked at sex and relationships as transactional, which is understandable. But here he's presented with this potential of this woman that he's highly attracted to, who he knows is smart. He knows that there's chemistry between the two of them. And his decision is, I'm going to ignore her and pretend she doesn't exist.
But I'm also going to kind of secretly stalk her. But here, I also feel like he has really high standards for himself, and he wants to be a better person, but he's really afraid he's going to fail at it. So instead of like actually trying to be a better person, he's just like, I'm really an asshole, so I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. So, and Lydia decides that she is tired of waiting for Reese to make the move. Go ahead.
I want to talk a little bit more about what before she does this, because I think you have to get a really good picture of this girl. Because I mean, she's 22, she has her first big girl job. She makes probably decent money, right? But not like a ton. And she sews. Like she sews things, and her favorite thing to make is pajamas
out of sheets
from the Goodwill. And so when she went to the Goodwill and she was talking about the little dots and everything, I was dying. Like, I have a friend that loves the Goodwill, and I totally thought of her. I was like, oh my gosh, and she's just so happy. Like, the Goodwill brings her genuine joy.
Yeah.
So I think that's part. I don't want to say she's a simple girl, because I think that she doesn't need to be, she's not into the glitz and glam.
She's not. And one of the scenes that I loved about her is when she was thinking about Reese, when she was in the car with Peyton, and she was or maybe she was driving home from the Goodwill, because she was going to put her energy into the sheet pajamas that they call them in the book. And she's talking, at this point, she didn't know Reese's name. She wasn't sure of his name. And she goes through this whole inner dialogue. And I actually quoted it because she's imagining what his name is. I imagine it was going well, the sex. And I was enjoying myself, and he was enjoying himself. And I was doing a really good job at the sexing. And then bam, I called out the wrong name and ruined everything. Like, she was so thoughtful. Like, she's like, I can't give him a fake name, because then I might call it out, and that would be bad.
Oh my God. And I think some people might, like, he over and over is like, are you for real? And then he like realizes, like, she is 100% genuine.
Yeah. She's just a really nice person. She is a good person, a good girl. She's very reward driven and motivated. She likes a checklist. She and because that is one of the funniest parts in this book.
Oh my gosh,
is
so good.
She likes rules. She likes boundaries. She likes knowing where she's going and what things are happening. And it all plays into this auction, this plan for this auction that she comes up with her best friend Peyton. They go to the strip club that he is known to spend time at, and talks to the owner and comes up with this plan to auction herself off, and hopefully he'll come and he'll buy her and take her virginity. But there's a secret plan that plays into it, and you guys just got to read the book because I'm not spoiling that.
Nope.
But he was mad. He was mad when he found out about it. Super mad. But as everything has happened and she's had the auction, her friend, Peyton, comes up with a badge system. The adult girl trooper badge system.
With a sash and everything. And as a former Girl Scout, I still have my mom still has it. Because she was like, God, we worked so hard for those damn badges. We're not giving that up.
So funny. That is so funny.
There are so many scenes around the badges that I'm like, I want some badges. Like, I feel like I earned some adult badges.
There is a funny interaction after their first sexual encounter, after Reese has saved her from the auction and paid for her. There's a funny interaction between Peyton and Lydia with the badges, and she got her Reese badge, but there's a butt stuff badge.
There's a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, you quoted this.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes. So he likes to give oral. She is real excited to give oral. She's never done it, but she's done lots of research.
Yeah, she has videos and everything.
Says to him, how come you get to do the oral and I have to wait until Wednesday to do the oral? Because she says to him, can I do that? And he's like, how about on Wednesday? He just like picks some random day, and she was like totally disappointed. And he's just like, oh my, and that, oh my gosh, I don't want to ruin anything.
Well, and then his friend Cannon is like, some kind of delayed gratification. What is wrong with you? And do you notice after their first time, and Cannon comes into the suite because he lives in the top executive floor of the casino while it's being built. And Cannon comes in, he lets himself in, he uses his key and goes to Reese and talks to him in his office. And after Cannon leaves, after talking to Reese, you'll note he puts the deadbolt on in the GM door so that nobody can come in anymore unannounced.
Yeah, I mean, he's super mad at her, and talk about alpha move. He's like, you're moving in. And she was like, okay. I mean, she just, my God.
I just loved her. And there was another great quote that I just thought was so good. When she says to him, boss me, teach me, talk dirty to me. I like all of that. I'm good with instructions and rules, and I love rules. They're so clear and unambiguous and sexy. And it really was like, she made needing rules very sexy. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I do not want to spoil this book. And we only talked about like the first 25%.
I know. I just, I think I was a little frustrated with her, but it all made sense. So we did not know that, like, there's a lot of talk about the money, but it never really comes out as to who is getting the money, how much money she's getting, where all this money is going. And there's talk of money, but nobody knows where it's at. It's sort of like out in space. And I was like, where in the hell? And it's not a small amount.
No, it's $500,000. He buys her virginity for $500,000. Yeah.
And it's not there. And I was like, where in the hell? I was really frustrated. But the way it plays out is fantastic. So don't be frustrated with Jana Aston, because just trust the process, because it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So Heather, did you like this book?
Obviously, I just gushed about it. And I very, very quickly, because you get a little tidbit into book 2, and you are going to need to just download them. Yeah. So do yourself a favor and just get them both.
That's Peyton, her best friend, and Vince, that owns the strip club. There are things alluded to in Good Girl about Peyton and Vince, and something that has transpired between the two of them, and somehow Cannon is involved in that.
Cannon's involved in it. I love him. We need more of him.
We do. So that is book 2 in this series, and it is so good. I think it's Sure Thing I think is book 2 is Sure Thing.
Well, let me look it up. I downloaded it.
I too liked this book. I'm a big, huge Jana Aston fan. Like, I love
called Good Time.
Oh, Good Time.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna a little bit of a plug here. She is not a Kindle Unlimited author, and that is totally cool. I have bought the book, but I also originally found them on my library.
Yes.
So
and the audiobooks too. She has some audiobooks out.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Who would typically like this book?
I think if you like a billionaire romance, if you really like rom-coms, if you like a friend group, I think this is a quick, it's not angsty. There's not,
but there is character growth in this. These are rom-com characters that are very different by the end of the book than what they were in the beginning of the book. And there is some awakening happening for the two of them both, really. So if you like a rom-com, if you want a rom-com with a little bit more meat but like it sexy too, this is totally a great book. Would you recommend this book?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
I actually am mad at myself that I haven't read Jana Aston in like a year. And so I think I'm going to go on a binge dive here.
Yeah. I love her books. I love them. And I would reread them over and over again.
Mm-hmm. This I can see being a reread. I bet, like, you know how sometimes when you reread things, you pick up on things that you miss. And I guarantee if we reread it, I would pick up on stuff.
Yeah, it was a reread for me, and I did pick up on some things, just some little pieces about Reese himself, and I didn't realize that the cousin crying was from the other book, which was hilarious because that book is so funny, so very funny. It has an undercover boss feel to it.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a book you think we should review for a quick shot of romance? Send us an email at thebees@bookcaseandcoffee.com so we can add it to our TBR. Heather, thank you so much for joining me for this quick shot of romance.
Thank you. Anytime.
Until
next time, everyone, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at buzzingaboutromance or on Twitter at buzzingromance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.